Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we are embarking on a journey. It's gonna be an interesting journey. So I really want to read my horror books for October. I don't have that many, but they are scattered throughout the house, which is a problem because a lot of them are upstairs in boxes right now. So I thought it would be fun to kind of collect all of my horror books so that I can try reading all of them in October. I know, that's a big ask. That's a big ask. I don't think it's gonna be that bad because, again, I don't think I actually have that many horror books. And I think it also depends on what you classify exactly as horror books. I just don't know what I have left on my shelves because I've been really trying this year to find myself in horror books. I don't know what horror books I like, what I don't like exactly. I feel like I'm pinpointing it a little bit better, but I really want to do that because I keep buying horror books and then not liking them. And books are very expensive now. Like, I feel like books used to be a lot less expensive to buy, but if you're buying a adult hardcover horror book, you're looking anywhere from $30 to $32, and that is a lot of money. But I also really want to support horror books because horror is definitely an underrated genre. Unfortunately, I just have not found my particular niche in horror. I don't know what it is because I keep reading things and I'm like, I don't know why I'm rating this the way I am. Like, I definitely don't love overly gory, descriptive stuff like that. I know I don't really like that, so I've been staying away from books like that. I don't love super sad endings. I really don't like horror books that end with just like desolation. It is not fun for me. I don't enjoy that. So I definitely have been giving books like that like 1 stars. So I've been trying to, that's harder to avoid though, because you don't know like what's happening. I think I like more fun horror books, which sounds weird, but like Guillotine, I just gave a 4 star and I really enjoyed that one because it was just kind of goofy and it reminded me of a horror movie. I could see that as a horror movie, so I enjoyed that one. I also like more obscure horror where it's not like in your face horror, it's more about the emotional impact of the story. Like The Haunting of Velkwood is a light horror story and it's more about the drama and the emotional impact of these situations that happen with horror kind of in the background. So I think that's generally what I like, but I don't know still. So I do want to go through the house and just kind of collect up all of my horror books and go through them and see what I like and don't like. I don't, again, like I said, I don't know what horror I have left because I have either gotten rid of them or have read a lot of them and not bought new ones. So I figured I would take you with me everywhere around the house to find these horror books, which I don't know how well that's going to go because, like I said, I have to go upstairs and it is a mess upstairs. So we're gonna start downstairs and kind of walk around the house and see if we have any horror books. And like I said, I don't know exactly what we're classifying as horror because it's such a broad genre. But I'm going to try and stay away from thrillers. If it seems more thrillery, we'll keep it in thrillers. I'm kind of looking for obvious horror books, maybe. It's going to be tough. So I do have, let's see, I have this bookshelf right here. And those are library books on the top, which is kind of sad because there are 3 horror books on the top. But I'm obviously not going to be doing library books in this. But I don't see anything on the top shelf. And I don't really see anything on this bottom shelf. Potentially this one, The Haunting. It's not, I don't think it's actually horror. Penny knows she must forget about her ex, Nash. Go shopping with friends. She found ripped from a horror movie. Okay, I would classify this as horror light thriller, but because there are slasher aspects to this, I will consider this a horror book. So this is our first pull, and I think the only one over here. Okay, this room is kind of dark. This is like my bedroom. The kitchen's a bit of a mess, so you're gonna see that. But this is my bedroom, and I'm looking at what we have here. I see I've already read all of these horror books. So I have House of Hollow, which I've read. I have Invocations, which I've read. I've read everything there. I don't think there's any horror there. Yeah, see, this shelf is just not gonna have The Warm Hands of Ghosts. I think this is more historical fiction fantasy. I don't think that would classify as horror. No, we're gonna stick, that's like historical fantasy. That's a thriller. Kill for Me, Kill for You. And yeah, I think that is, yeah, Sorceress Comes to Call is one of T. Kingfisher's fantasy books. I've read all of those, and I've read all of those. So there was no horror over there, but we do have a smaller shelf. I feel like you can't see it. I'm gonna have to lower you down. Let's see. We do have one of my smaller shelves. It's just gonna be hard to see. So I feel like you can already see I've been slowly pulling books off of here, so there's not as many on here. But we definitely have I Was a Teenage Slasher. That is clearly a horror book. So this one is definitely going to get pulled. I don't have super high hopes for this because I've not enjoyed a Stephen Graham Jones book yet. But this one seems just, the synopses, his books always seem like it's something that I'm going to be obsessed with. And I never like his writing. So we're going to try it because I just keep putting it off. This is the perfect October book though. So this probably will be very quickly in this vlog because this is going to be a read the first chapter, I'm gonna like it or I don't like it. So we're gonna add that one. I forgot I had this. Projections. This is definitely a witchy horror, I think. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. And it says it's appealing to fans of Jeff Vandermeer. You know what? I don't know if this is... Dang, this is not horror. This is a dark historical fantasy. Dang it. Okay, that is apparently not actually horror. That stinks. And that's it for this room. I don't think I have, yeah, all that stuff is stuff I'm getting rid of. Oh man, dang, I thought I had at least 2 in here. I really thought Projections was gonna be a horror book. Okay, we are in one of the spare bedrooms. This is where I film a lot of some unboxings and stuff like that. If you hear bells, we have my mother-in-law's dog with us for probably the next 2 weeks, I think is what we're having here. So my in-laws are actually from where they got all the flooding. Luckily, my in-laws, their house is still standing. They didn't have any flooding in their house. It was amazing, but the rest of their town is like underwater and it's awful. So they didn't know what they were going home to. There was talk that they weren't gonna have power for 2 months. Luckily, power in their area, because it wasn't as damaged as lower on the mountain, because they're pretty high up on the mountain. They got lucky and they do have some power restored. So we didn't know what they were going into. There was only one road open to their town, so they just didn't know what they were gonna do with Lizzie, their puppy. She's 4 and crazy. So they didn't know what they're gonna do with her because they didn't know if they couldn't get up to the mountain, because we were all at the beach. I'm filming this right off the beach video. Can you please stop with the bells? Oh my gosh. But we have to know where she is at all times because she sneaks off places. So I'm used to the bells, but the bells probably are really annoying for the video. They didn't know if they were going to hit a town and basically not be able to get back to their house. And that would have been complicated with a dog because a lot of places don't allow dogs. So we just took her. Now she's mad at me because I just had to kick her out. She was just falling and like hopping around me with the stupid bells on. So I kicked her out of the room. So she's a little mad at me. So anyway, we have her for 2 weeks. So you'll probably see her in videos. She is so tiny. She is also a Shih Tzu. We have Taz, who is a Shih Tzu, but he's like 22 pounds. He's just a big Shih Tzu. He's not fat. He's just big. She is like 8 pounds and a menace. Like, she is crazy. They look totally different. It's just crazy how different Shih Tzus could be. So anyway, back to the video. We are in the spare room. I think I do have some horror in here. I think there's a couple in here. I don't know how many. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is exciting. This is very exciting. I didn't know I had this down here. I thought this was going to be upstairs. This is one that I really want to get to. I have really enjoyed Cassandra Clare books so far. I think I've given 2 of her. I gave Nothing But Black and Teeth like a 3.5. I actually really liked it. And then I gave... Oh no, what is the other book? I gave her other novella 5 stars. It was everything. Again, it had like this emotional impact. So I'm trying to see if it's something with writing or the way that she writes stories, and that's what I'm liking. But this also has another author. It's Cassandra Clare and Richard Kadri. So that does make me a little nervous because I've never read anything by the second author. They did take the A train. This just seems really cool. I love this cover, even though it's really creepy. I think this could also be potentially 4 or 5 stars. I don't think there's anything else on this. Because Modern Divination, I think, is more fantasy than anything else. Yeah, this looks... Never Stay the Night. Well, it's potentially kind of horror. See, this is where we're getting into, is it horror or is it dark fantasy. I'm gonna say that this is dark fantasy. There's nothing on the, oh, Diavola. Okay, this is another one that I actually bought this because everybody was talking about it. I got it secondhand off of Pango because they sold out on Aardvark when I actually was gonna get it. And I bought this after I already was like trying not to buy horror books anymore. So that's why I ended up not buying it from Aardvark to begin with. So this one, a lot of people seem to really like. And I think this is like a haunted house kind of story, which I think I've enjoyed haunted house stories before. And this one also seems like potentially is going to have emotional impact related things. So high hopes for this one as well. So next one we have, I actually do have one. This, again, is another one I bought because I think it's going to be emotionally impactful. This is the same author who wrote Haunting of Velcode, which I gave 5 stars. And this is Reluctant Immortals, and it's following the female characters from some famous horror movies, or horror books / movies. So Lucy from Dracula, Bertha from, oh, Mr. Rochester's Attic-Bound Wife from Jane Eyre. So I thought that sounded pretty good. So it's kind of like women fighting against the constraints of men. So I thought this sounded pretty good. I feel like I'm going to count this as horror because the more I'm talking about it, it sounds more literary. So I think this is literary. Combining elements of historical and gothic fiction with a modern perspective and a tale of love and betrayal and coercion. But it's blurred by Stephen Graham Jones. Oh no. Is this horror or not? I feel like this is literary fiction. See, this is where I'm like, oh crap. I don't know what you would classify this as. I'll pull this one, but I don't know. I'll pull this one, but I don't know about it. That might be all that I have for horror up here. Because Dreadful, that's definitely not horror, that's fantasy. Looking for Smoke. Okay, I have 2 right here. I think Looking for Smoke is more thriller. Yeah, this is almost like young adult literary thriller. So definitely not this one. But I think this one is a young adult horror. And I tend to like young adult horror, which again, that's another thing I have figured out is young adult horror does seem to be a better percentage rate of me liking them, but still not like great. A ghost haunting her boarding school uncovers a teen's best kept secrets in the Queen of Scream's deliciously terrifying new novel. I am going to count this as a horror. Yes. I'm going to count this as a horror, mostly just because like the cover looks terrifying. So we'll pull that one. And then if I'm looking over here, is House of Marion horror? I don't think so. I think that's fantasy, right? So nothing up here because these are all my T. Kingfisher books and I read all of them. So definitely none of those. House of Marion. I don't think House of Marion is a horror book. I think it's fantasy. This is more fantasy. So definitely not that one. Oh, shoot. I just saw it. I just saw it. I just saw it. And I forgot I own this book. Oh, no. Okay. You know, this is good. This is good because I bought this under duress. Like, my brain was telling me to buy this because everybody was reading it last year. House of Leaves. I don't think I'm going to like this. I was, everyone was reading it. Like, literally everyone was reading it. And I let myself be persuaded to buy this. I objectively do not think I'm going to like this. So this is going to be similar to the Stephen Graham Jones one, where I'm probably just going to try it very quickly off screen. And if I'm intrigued, we'll continue trying it. If I'm not, it's just going to be like, okay, this just I wasn't smart. I should not have purchased this. Because like, that's not fair to these books going into them knowing I'm not going to like them. So I won't talk about them much if I end up not liking them. So yeah, we definitely have to pull that one because that is like the epitome of horror apparently. So I think that might be it over here. And I think that's probably it because I think everything over there. Oh no, I have an Evernight. Okay, I don't remember which one it is. Oh, I have a couple over here. Never mind, this is great. I don't know if I guys like just made you guys sick or something. because motion sickness. Okay, definitely nothing on the top, but I know I have an Evernight somewhere. There it is. Evernight. I don't think anything here. Yeah. Okay. Last to leave the room. Definitely horror. Mixed feelings about this one. Definitely mixed feelings about this one. So we're definitely pulling that. I have way more horror books than I thought. I might put back Immortal. What is it called? What is it called? Reliant Immortals? What is the book called? I think I'm gonna Reluctant Immortals. I think I am gonna put this one back. I don't think this is horror. So now that I have enough, I was just worried I wouldn't have enough books, but I have a lot more than I thought I would. I'm definitely gonna put that one back. What else do I have? I was about to say, this is gonna be very fun. This is gonna be a very interestingly filmed vlog at the beginning. None of these, but then we move on to this. We have Black Sheep. I'm so excited to read this. This is definitely one that I want to get to pretty soon. So like the couple that I'm definitely gonna read early on, this is definitely, I'm so excited about this one. I really hope I like it too, and it's for a selfish reason. I want a pink book like this. I think it's so cute. So I want to like it. I don't know much about it, but I do want to read the new book, So Thirsty. I can't remember if I'm getting that one through Aardvark this month. Aardvark has a lot of really good picks, and there are some horror, so you'll probably see some Aardvark books later in this video that I just got. So I don't know if I'm going to get that one or not. And then we have House of Hunger. I actually really want to read this. And so I'm pretty excited that this is also going to be on the list. House of Hunger. I think that's everything now in this room. I know I keep saying that, but I think that is actually it now. Oh man, I just keep finding more. Another one at the top of my list, Parasite by Darcy Coates. I'm a pretty big Darcy Coates fan, and I think this is one that I'm gonna like because I do tend to like space horror. That is another one that I actually like. I think I have a high likelihood of enjoying this one. And I like space horror movies too. So I think there's something just in space horror that I enjoy, and I don't know what it is. Okay, so that is everything that is downstairs. Now we have to move to the upstairs to find what is up there. We're definitely probably not going to find everything because of how stuff is packed away, because I unpacked everything, all of my books, and then my husband pointed out, he's like, you have to paint the walls upstairs. And I was like, so I want to move all of them out of the room so they don't get any paint on them and they don't get any, like, that paint smell. So it's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare, but we're gonna go move to the hallway upstairs and then to the big room. So let's work on that. So this is kind of what I'm working with. It's kind of a mess. So these ones are gonna be easy to see if I have horror because those are faced out that way. Not so easy because all the spines are facing inward. So that was not my brightest move, but this is eventually going to be my library. You can see it's a mess. Yeah, we haven't gotten much more done up here. Like, we have like cleared out a decent amount, but it's just so much stuff. It's so much stuff. We're just trying to figure out where stuff goes. But all of the back walls, not the ceiling, but like the back walls here and this wall and like these walls over here, those are gonna be painted like a dark emeraldy green. And then we're gonna build bookshelves entirely covering the back wall, which is gonna be awesome. So that's kind of the plan. You can see how much of a mess it is. Moving sucks. This is an interesting angle. You're sitting kind of up in the extra room and I'm kind of just surrounded by the books. So this is interesting. I'm definitely going to do this side first because it is going to be so much faster. I should just be able to whip through this side of things. And I can already see a couple of horror books that I am going to pull. So yeah, let's get started on these. This is crazy. I feel like I haven't seen some of these books in months. Okay, so we have The Camp. This was oh yeah, it might be a little echoey too, because there's not a lot of, like, there's carpet, but there's nothing on the walls and there's not a lot of furniture. So this one came as a Twisted Retreat book. This sounds pretty good. This is like summer camp vibes, slasher things, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Then we have, I haven't heard like anybody talk about this. I thought this was gonna be like the big release, but I haven't heard, oh gosh. The other goal is to not make any of these fall down. Which is gonna be hard. Oh, this is already, okay. This is not gonna be fun. Okay. I'm gonna say okay a lot because my stress word is okay, which means I'm stressed. That pile is good, I think. Oh, how did I get these to stay up so nicely before? Okay, so I haven't heard anyone talk about this, but the Hollow Kind. This seems like a pretty neat horror book as well. I'm not gonna have any explanations for this. I'm kind of trying to hurry through these piles. We also have Loot, which is the same author, I think, as Diavola. So I might read those together. That might be kind of fun to see the differences because I think this is young adult and Diavola is adult. Then we have, see, I don't know if, see this, okay, we're getting into territory of sometimes young adult horror books don't scream horror. So The Depths, I'm gonna pull this one. I don't know if it's technically horror, but I think it is. I think this is island horror. I think The Honeys also is classified as horror, right? Like, I think that's horror. This is gonna be really hard to get out. Oh no. Okay, and Just Like Home is right under it, and that's definitely horror. I was saving Just Like Home to do a goofy video on it, like what I did with the, oh gosh, like what I did with that one book where I like went over the whole plot, but I don't think it's goofy. I think it's just bad potentially, and I think it deals with depression a lot, so I don't really want to make fun of that in a video. So we're gonna pull The Honeys and we're gonna pull Just Like Home. Next pile, this is not going as quickly as I thought it would. The Haunting of Sunshine Girl. I got this one a while ago. I don't know why I got this, but this is definitely horror. I've read this one. Okay, we're starting to get into stuff that I have read. I think I've read everything in here. Yeah, none of that. We do have, oh, Leech. Okay, I got this during one of the Barnes & Noble sales, I think, last year. Oh, this seems weird. This is a weird one, but we are going to pull it because it's definitely horror. Like, it's 100% horror. And then I think that's everything. Oh, gosh. I gotta stop saying I think that's everything. We have Lavender House. We're gonna pull that one. Now I think that's everything because I've read all of these. I've read all of these horror books. Okay, so does everything on that side. Okay, nothing in the first two piles. They are pretty much all thrillers and romances. Why did I buy this many books? Like, why did I do this? This was so dumb. Like, who do I think that I am that I'm gonna read all these? Although I've read most of these. We finally found some. Okay, we've got two, and I'm glad I actually searched for them because these are two that I want to read. Although I am quite nervous about one of them. I should have put them backwards. Why did I do that? Why did I not put them back in a way that was gonna make everything easier for me? But I just put them right back the way that they were. Okay, so I have The Children on the Hill, which is one that I should have read last year. I think this is gonna be really cool. It has like a Frankenstein monsters kind of thing, monster hunting. Then I have Little Eve. I have not liked the Catriona Award yet, so that one makes me a bit nervous that I'm not gonna like it. But we're gonna try it. Okay, that was everything in these piles. So much work for like nothing. I'm gonna go look through the boxes myself without being on camera because it's gonna take a while. That's gonna take a while, and I'm gonna watch some TV while I'm doing this because it's gonna be really annoying. So I will show you the final piles at the very end. I said that I would show you the little minion. So let me show you the little minion because she is all over my feet right now. Look at her. Look at her. She snorts a lot. She's so tiny. She's so tiny, and she's very sweet sometimes, but she's also a menace at the same time. During her training, so she's 4 now, but when she was doing training school back when she was 1, they had her in school with a Rottweiler. She scared the Rottweiler. It's like, she's tiny. She also is really bad. She's one of those dogs who's like too smart, and she we think she actually this is legitimate, this is not me making a joke. We legitimately think she has ADD or ADHD because she has an issue with going to the bathroom outside, has since she's been a puppy. When she was a puppy, she used to put rocks in her mouth. She wouldn't eat them. She would stuff her face with rocks because she found it entertaining. And anytime she would have to come inside, you'd have to open her mouth, like pry it open, and rocks would just come out. And so now that she's older, you know, she grew out of the rocks. Thank goodness. But she cannot, it takes like 30 minutes of being outside for her to go to the bathroom because she's so distracted by everything. And right now the leaves are falling. If she sees a leaf falling, she'll go chase it. If she sees an acorn, if she hears an acorn, she'll go try and find it. A squirrel, she's not coming back. So she's just so distracted so easily. And if she gets distracted immediately at the beginning of the walk, it's a lost cause. So she is currently in a diaper because she has struggles with going to the bathroom when she gets too distracted. So I have her in this because I just took her out for 20 minutes. She refused to go to the bathroom. So when my husband gets home, he's going to try to take her out again, see if she's calmed down. But she's so distracted by things. And yeah, my mother-in-law likes putting the little bows in her hair. You've seen Taz. Taz, we cut his hair short. We keep him in the chill haircut, but she likes the little bows and making her look all girly. Don't think she likes it, but she's used to it. You can tell she's a lot more cuddly than Taz is. But she'll also just scream. Like, she fights her bed. So she's just a little menace. If she starts fighting her bed, I'll see if I can get a video of it, of her doing things in this video. Look at the little chubby face. Look at her little chubby face. That's her. That's Lizzie. Anyway, to get into the actual vlog of things, I was gonna say I got distracted. Heading back to the vlog, let's actually talk about the books that I pulled out. So, hi Taz. So now Taz is jealous. The problem is Taz is getting jealous. So let's talk about the books that we pulled out. This is not all of them. I ended up not being able to go through 2 of the 4 boxes because it was too hard. I was like bending stuff. It was a pain in the butt to get them back in. So I stopped doing that. So there are some that are probably missing. God, you can just hear the bells. There are probably some missing. So we're just gonna work with what we have. So quick recap about what we have. We have The Haunting by Natasha Preston. I think this is going to be a really good short young adult one that I can read after maybe more of an intense horror book, because sometimes you need palate cleansers. Yeah, House of Roots and Ruin. I think this is going to be a 5-star. This is a 5-star prediction for me. Again, this is one that will be pretty good after reading maybe a not as good book. Like if I end up DNFing something or not liking something, I can pick this one up and hopefully that will make me like it better. Oh, I also am super excited because I have a Kindle case coming today. I will show you my unboxing of that. It is definitely super Halloween-y. It is a vampire case. I'm so excited. It's by one of my favorite artists. I think it's like Miyagi Moose. Absolutely love their stuff. I have so much stuff by them. So I will show you that when that comes. It's actually in the mailbox right now, but it is, I mean, downpouring right now. So my husband's gonna pick, and our mailbox is kind of far away from our house. We live on 2 acres. So my husband, when he comes in, he's going to pick it up out of the mailbox so I don't have to go get it. So anyway, next one, I Was a Teenage Slasher. This one is this is most likely gonna be a DNF. I'm just gonna be upfront about this. This is most likely going to be a DNF. Hopefully, if I go into this with really low expectations, maybe I'll like it more. Lavender House. I'm not sure about the genre for this one, so we're kind of gonna see when we get into that one. I'm not sure about that one. This is like a sci-fi super weird horror. Again, not sure I'll end up getting to that one. I'm putting like different piles here. These are the 3 that I really want to get to. Those are immediate plans. And then I have a pile of ones that I have, but I don't know if I will have time to get to those. Then I have The Haunting of Sunshine Girl. I don't remember what this one even is about. So I'm gonna put this in the maybe get to pile. We have Loot. This one I have high expectations for. I do want to get to this one. So this one I am putting in the try to get to pile. The Hollow Kind, I don't remember what this one is about. I bought it and I was so excited about it, but I cannot remember what this one is about. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the maybe. The Camp I would like to get to, but I don't I don't know. This one, I'm not sure if I'll love this one. So I am going to put it in the maybe pile. We'll see. That one's, it's going to be a lot of mood reading in this. Like, what type of horror am I in the mood to read? Then we have Just Like Home. There is a little sticky thing here because it came with like a sticker that was ripped off and it was super sticky. I need to get some oil. I found out that if you use vegetable oil or olive oil, any type of oil, I would not use olive oil because that's expensive. Any type of oil you can actually rub, especially on like one of these. It's not going to ruin the cover. You can actually get the sticky off. I did that with a couple of my books, so I'm going to do that with this one when I get the chance. I would like to get to this one because I gave The Echo Wife, I think I gave it 4.5 stars. It's probably more of a 5-star, but I think I gave 4.5 stars, The Echo Wife. I loved it. So I would like to read another Sarah Gailey, so I do want to get to this one. Then we have The Honeys. Again, is another young adult kind of horror-y thriller, I want to say. So I've had this one for quite a while, so I would like to get to this one as well. Oh man, my would like to get to pile is it's getting large. Okay, so we have The Depths. This was an Owlcrate pick, I believe. I am tempted to leave this and read this in an Owlcrate catch-up vlog, so that might work. So I'll put this in the maybe pile. Then we have both of these. I would like to get to both of these because I've had these for a while. I got them around the same time and they were supposed to be in the October vlogs that I was supposed to do last year before I got, one of my injuries occurred literally the week that kicked off October. So I ended up not doing that much stuff in October that I wanted to do for the channel. So these were 2 that I was supposed to get to. I did not get to them. I would like to get to them. This is looking not good. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books in this pile for a month. And I have other things that I have to read because I am reading The Gathering. It's just not going to be in this video. It's our book club pick our book club pick for October 2024 is The Gathering by CJ Tudor, I think is the last name. We'll be also reading that one, but that'll be for a different video. The Chill, I've had this one for a while. I don't mind not reading this one yet, so I'll put this in maybe. This one sounds so good. I'm gonna put this in I want to read this. This is The Anomaly. I actually found this at a used bookstore and it sounds really good, and it's an old book of the month. They don't sell it anymore, and this sounds really fun, so I would also like to get to that one. I'm gonna put this one in the maybe because I don't know if this one is horror. It reads like it should be horror, but and what is it though? The Hazelwoods was fantasy horror, so I think this one is similar in genre, maybe. But I did really like the Hazelwoods. I started reading the second one and I just lost interest, so I do want to get back to that. This one is going and I have to read this. I've had this for a while. I've tried to read this 2 Octobers in a row now, 2 Halloweens in a row, still have not gotten to it. So this is the last year for it. This is the last year. I either read it this October or it's going. Like that is where we're at with that one. This one was also an Unplugged book pick. I don't remember. This one sounds really good. Still gonna put it in the maybe pile. What am I missing? I'm missing some books. I need to go find the other ones. I'm missing a bunch from the other room. Okay, I found my other Darcy Coates, Dead Lake. I would like to get to this one, but I'm gonna put it in maybe because if stuff is not going well, I know I can pick up a Darcy Coates and have a good time. And then we have Those Who Drown, which I've heard really bad things about. So this is probably going in the maybe, although I really probably need to pick it up to see if I'm actually going to read it or not. So we'll put it in maybe still. So let me go get the other pile of books. I was like, oh, this isn't that many. And I forgot I had a bunch more left. Man, I got so much left. I got so much left. The storm is also getting worse, which I really am not loving. We have Last to Leave the Room. I'm going to put this in, I want to put this in the yes pile, but I really don't have room. I'm going to have to go back through these again. I'll put it in the yes pile, and I'll go back through the yes pile and edit. Okay, we have Diavola, another one that is going in the yes pile. We have Parasite. I really want to read this one, so it's going in the yes pile. Same with House of Hunger. I am getting another Alexis Henderson with Evernight, so I would like to read this one first before I get that one, even though I know that one's coming in Evernight, but that one doesn't scream horror to me. That seemed more dark academia fantasy kind of thing. I knew I said I was going to take it out, but I'm not going to. We're just going to put it in the maybe pile. I want to read this. Then we have Black Sheep. It's going in the yes pile. House of Leaves. It's going in the yes pile because I'm either reading it or I'm DNFing it. Like, that's where we're at. I don't need to be keeping this giant book that I'm probably not going to enjoy. So we're going to be trying this one. This is, again, a similar situation as I Was a Teenage Slasher. So this is going in the yes pile. The narrow, we'll go in the maybe. We'll go in the maybe. That one's okay for maybe. And the Dead Take the A Train is a yes. Yeah, I might start with this one. Okay, so we have our maybe pile. Got a lot of good ones there. We got to go back to the yes pile. There's way too many. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We have 17 in the yes pile. So that's not going to work. That's not going to work for us. So we have House of Leaves. We will keep House of Leaves in the yes pile. Dead Take the A Train is also staying in the yes pile. Black Sheep. I'm going to keep this in the yes pile. It just sounds fun. Like, it sounds fun. Yes pile. I guess House of Hunger, I could move to a November book. Can you hear that? That's such heavy rain. That is such heavy rain. I'm going to put this in the maybe pile. Yeah, we're going to move that one to the maybe pile. We're going to put Parasite in the yes pile. I feel like you've seen these books before. Diavola, I'll put in the maybe. That one might be like, I'm not feeling these, and we go to that. The Haunting, we're going to put in the maybe. We can move that one over. Just Like Home will also move to the maybe pile. Same as Loot. I Was a Teenage Slasher is going in yes. House of Roots and Ruin is going in yes. I definitely want to read that, especially with the new Aaron A. Craig that just came out. Last to Leave the Room, maybe. Put that in maybe. Extasia has to be in yes. We have to get to that one. The Anomaly, we'll go to maybe. We'll go to maybe. I've had it for a while, but I can wait. I'm trying to keep this pile down. Little Eve, we'll put in maybe. We'll put Little Eve in maybe. Jennifer McMahon, The Children on the Hill, we'll put in yes. And then The Honeys, we'll put in the maybe pile. Oh my gosh. I barely caught that. Much more manageable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 books. And I do think we'll potentially have 2 DNFs in this pile. So this is what we're going to be trying to get through. We have a bunch of maybes, and like I said, I would like to try and get through as many horror as I can. So those maybes will definitely come into play. Like, it's not saying that I'm not reading them. It is, some of them will be coming into play. So let's talk about what I want to read first. I'm reading a romance right now, and I'm not starting with House of Leaves. It's not happening. I think I want to start, and I'm doing I Was a Teenage Slasher on audiobook. I need to go get that audiobook. Hopefully it's easy to get. Do I want to start with the Dead? Let's see. Okay, The Dead Take the A Train or Black Sheep, I feel like, is a good place to start. I think this is where we're going to start. It's short. It should be a quick read. I shouldn't be too hard to grasp what's going on. I'm trying to ease myself into this reading vlog because I'm scared. I'm scared. You guys are about to be in for a wild ride because this could be a disaster. I'm hoping we find a new favorite. If I can get at least one book in this vlog to be a 4 or 5 star, I will call it a success. So I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. I am very nervous. And I think we're just gonna get right into it. It is September 30th. So I really probably should wait until tomorrow to read this. I probably will. You know what, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish my romance today, and then first thing tomorrow morning, I will start Black Sheep. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna stay like this. You're attached to my computer. Oh no, when I laugh, it bounces it. Okay, I can't do that. Although I don't know if it's much better for me holding it. So I remember I said I was going to start Black Sheep. You never trust me. Just don't trust me. I ended up starting The Dead Take the A Train, and I want to say I'm about 60 pages into this. I'm obsessed with it. I am obsessed. And it's really bringing home my point that I think I just like comedy horror. Like, this is grotesque. Like, it is gory. It is, oh my gosh, it is disgusting. But I'm having the best time of my life because it's so funny. And I love monster hunting stuff. I think that is another big one that I've realized that I really like is monster hunting. So, because I'm looking back at even like movies that I really, really like. My favorite horror movies are like The Menu and the Scream franchise, which is literally like parody horror. Less the newer movies, but they're still like it's still in there somewhat. But those are like my favorites, and I love Ready or Not. So it's I think it's comedy. I think comedy is the key. And this is so funny. Like, she had a whole, like, I don't even know how to describe this book. I don't know how to describe this. I don't know who I would ever recommend this book to, and I'm not even like close to being done, but I'm already obsessed with it. It's following our main character Julie, and she is living in a modern day New York, but it is filled with monsters, and the monsters are all like, they're terrible. They are awful. Think if you've read A Deadly Education, which there is nothing similar about this, but for some reason I keep thinking of A Deadly Education. Think of the monsters from A Deadly Education, how nasty they are. Multiply that by 100, and that's what you get in this. And so she is a monster hunter, and it's so much fun to watch her go hunt these monsters and work. And she just had an intern named Brad, and it was the funniest and also terrifying thing that I've ever read. I was cackling. I'm obsessed. I'm actually obsessed with this book, and I just want to read this, but I have other things that I have to do, because I'm also reading The Adventures of Mina Al-Sarafi for the book club, which is way more dense and way less fun than this is. I just want to read this. This is the perfect Halloween month book. I'm obsessed. I just absolutely love this. So I am having a great time. I don't know what else to say other than I'm having a fantastic time. So today I am catching up on things that I have to do. So yesterday I did go to the bookstore. I keep forgetting to like film myself at bookstores, but I am going back today because I have to use my Books A Million like $10 off thing before it runs out. And so I'm going back today because I do want to go get Very Deep, although I'm debating. I really want to get We Used to Live Here. I don't know, and that one's also $30. That's a lot of money for 2 books. So I've been trying to be so much better about not spending that much money on books. I did get 2 books yesterday. I did end up buying The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig, Erin A. Craig is an auto-buy author for me. Absolutely love their books. And then I bought the book that I've had my eye on for quite some time, and it is Love and Other Conspiracies. It's the one where they're like Bigfoot hunters. Okay, I just showered. My hair turns into an absolute like rat's non-existent nest when I shower. I also painted my nails, which is the first time I've done that in forever, because they're already chipping. I painted them an hour ago. I hate it. But we went to Marshall's today, so I got a brand new color, because I had to pretty much throw out all my nail polish because I really don't paint my nails that much. And so all my nail polish was all gloopy and nasty, so I threw it all out. And nail polish is kind of expensive, especially if you want like nice nail polish. So I really like OPI, and they had OPI for like $5 at Marshall's, and I really liked this color. So I painted my nails, and I'm gonna go paint my toenails while we watch the MMA fight tonight. So it's really cool. It's the pay-per-view tonight, and my brother is awesome, and he always buys it, so he gave us his login stuff, so we're able to watch it, and my husband and my brother text while the fights are going on, which is funny. That's what we're gonna be doing tonight, and I would like to start a new book because I have finished the first horror book of October, and that is The Dead Takes the A Train. I'm not gonna update much in this video. It's just gonna be me trying to get through as many as possible and talking about them, like initial thoughts and how I feel at the end is kind of, I feel like, how I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be a very succinct video, and me kind of talking through what I think I like in horror books, because I think we've gotten a little closer to figuring it out in this one, because I did give this one I'm sad about this one. I was fighting with myself over the rating about this one, because I like it. I really like it, but it's a 3.75. I was very between a 3.5 and a 4-star. I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I rarely give like the quarter ratings, but I definitely think this is way, like I gave The Adventures of Mina Al-Sarafi 3.5, and I enjoyed this way more than that book. But it's like, I'm also very genre specific with my ratings. So I think a 3.75 feels good to this book, but this may be bumped up to a 4. It is a 4 on Goodreads. It may end up being a 4 by the end of this vlog. Because the more I think about it, all I'm remembering is like the stuff that I really loved about this book and how excited I am for the second book in the duology, which has me nervous because it's really not been talked about, and this has been out since last October. So that makes me nervous that no one has really talked about this. It's not listed on Goodreads, it's coming soon. The only statement was by the second author, Richard Kadri. He said he was working on it and showed like a page of him writing on his Instagram, and that was like months ago. So I'm like really nervous because there's so much to unpack in a second book. There's so much to get to. This was really good. You know what? It's a 4. It's a 4. We're gonna go with a 4. It was so good. I do think this could have been this could have been a 5-star. Oh, this could have been a 5-star. This had the humor that I love in horror books. That's what I think I need in horror. Is I think going on my list of things that make me like horror books, we're gonna put humor at the top. Like, it doesn't have to be like, I don't want like super corny humor, but I want like funny humor. I want to have some laughs while I'm reading something kind of darker to kind of dissipate the darkness. This was legitimately funny. Like, the stuff that was going on from chapter 1 was so funny. Like, literally ripping a person apart, but having a whole conversation with this demon and it somehow being funny is, I feel like, really, really good writing. Like, I feel like you should be like sitting there like traumatized, and I was sitting there cackling. That's how amazing I feel like this was written. And I feel like these authors did a really good job of using like italics to really make you like in your head read how they want you to read a sentence and make it like funnier. So like, she's talking to a girl here and there are eggs in here, Marie. Like, there's italicized portions where it feels like you are literally listening to a conversation in your head. So I love that. And it's just so, the comedic timing is so good in this. So things I love, like I said, the humor in this is so good. I love the characters in this. They are pretty much all morally gray, and it's actually like a found family situation, and they're all so weird and basically society rejects, kind of, but they're so fun, and I really love all the characters. So that is definitely a plus. Is I feel like they can be totally morally gray and evil, but I have to be entertained by them and like them. I have to at least somewhat root for them, especially if it's a main character. And then we had a fantastic villain character because he sucks. Like, he is a cockroach, an absolute cockroach who will not die, isn't even good at anything. That's what makes this villain so interesting, is he's not good at stuff. He just is, he's good at talking himself into situations and has set himself up into like a place where he can manipulate things, even though he sucks at everything else. But he's so good at manipulating circumstances that he makes for such an interesting villain, because he is a absolute cockroach. He is such a pain. He will not die. He will not just go away. And he makes situations so obnoxious, but in a good way that you're like, okay, what is he gonna do now? Like, I'm totally rooting against him. I hope he gets eviscerated in the second book. Like, I want him to be eviscerated. That's how much you absolutely loathe this character. But yeah, it's just, he's such a good villain though to hate. Like, you hate him and you have fun hating him. And I feel like that's important in a villain too. Like, he's not a lame villain. He literally sucks. I also love the world. It's so interesting. The monsters in this are insane. I don't know how someone comes up with these monsters in their head. I literally don't know how they came up with these, because they are the most grotesque, disturbing things I've ever read. And it's hard even to picture them sometimes, because they're so abstract sometimes, and I love that. I also love that this isn't as, Cassandra Claw is known for pretentious writing. This one definitely is toned down a little bit. It's still there. Like, you still might want a dictionary while you're reading this book. but it's toned down a little bit, and I just love how it's written. I love how Cassandra Clare writes. It's like one of the only authors that I like pretentious writing from. I don't know what it is, but I love it. I'm always sucked into their stories. Yeah, I really, really like this, and I like what we've set up for book 2. I think where we have set the book up is going to be very interesting for book 2. So, things that I didn't like, things that kind of brought this down from a 5-star, and that is definitely the middle section. So we kind of, something gets, I'm trying to think of how to describe this without spoilers. 50% into the book, it's a 5-star. It's so good. Then there's a situation that happens where we summon something, and pretty much from that point until the end, it kind of loses the plot. I feel like it starts becoming this meandering issue of we don't know like what to do exactly, and it does become a little bit more, even more abstract. Like sometimes you'll be in a scene and it feels so chaotic that you're like, I don't know if I know exactly what just happened. So there are sections of it that are just a little too overwritten and probably needed to be just scaled back a little bit. I think this book duology would have actually been a lot better as like a 5-book novella series. And I think where this book does so well is the monster hunting at the beginning, because it's funny. It is super different than anything I've read before. It is very interesting. The magic in it is so cool, even though like I still don't understand how it works, and somehow I still like it. So if we had done a novella, I think each novella should have been like Julie, our main character, hunting for a monster. Because that's what had me riveted to the book in the first half, because that went away in the second half because we were trying to catch this big evil. So I think what it should have been is each novella should have been a monster hunt while we are looking for the overarching evil and trying to understand it. Because I think, again, when the overarching evil finally kind of came into the book, that's where the book kind of lost the plot, and it lost the humor. It lost what made the beginning of the book so fun and interesting and different. And it kind of just felt like it didn't really know what it was doing, kind of. So I think it tried to do too much as well. There was too many bad things going on at the same time, because we are following our main character, Julie, but our other main character is Tyler, who is the villain. He is the bad character, and he's got his own stuff going on. So I think we needed Tyler's point of view, but I think too much was done with Tyler's point of view. So it just needed to be scaled back, the story in general. And again, I think it would have done better as a novella because that middle section just seemed to meander. We also needed more monster hunting in the back half of the book instead of just focusing on the big evil. Because again, that was the interesting, super interesting, fun parts. So still love this. So what I hope for the second book, I hope it comes out. I'm really nervous this is not going to come out because it doesn't have like, I haven't seen anyone talk about this book. This was definitely me picking this up because I like Cassandra Clare. I've given Cassandra Clare a 5-star and a 3.5. So I am nervous that not enough people like have read this, so they're not going to release a second book, which would devastate me because I would love this book series to be like 10 books. Because this is such a different type of world and magic system. It is so fun. What I want to see in the second book, like I said, is more monster hunting. I definitely want more monster hunting. I want the magic to be a little bit more explained. It wasn't super explained very well. The ending of this was a bit abrupt. Like, I feel like we solved the major problems in this a little bit too easily. So I kind of want the second book to kind of recap kind of what happened and kind of explain it more and go into it a little bit more in depth, because it was kind of like a fade to black situation of stuff being resolved, which I thought was a bit odd. And then I definitely want the main evil character to get what is coming to him. Please, please. It needs to be like sweet victory for our characters. He is so evil. Yeah, I really like this. 4 stars. Would I recommend this to anybody? I don't think so. I don't know. This is such a weird book. It is gore. If you liked... I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that is even remotely similar. And if you liked the Scholomance series, this is going to sound really weird. If you liked the Scholomance series, but you wanted the monsters to be actively just be destroying people and being super gory and visceral and disgusting and just on and on and on, I would try this because it's kind of like our main character is very similar to the main character in the Skull Man series. The monsters are as disturbing and as lethal. They are worse than this. It ratchets it up, and you've got this like cute romance in it that is actually adorable. So that is my reader beware. That's what I'm gonna go with this. If you want to try it, if what I said sounds interesting, it is incredibly gory. Like, if you're squeamish at all, do not read this. I mean, it is talking about ripping things out of the flesh and moving organs around and stuff like that. Which again, normally I don't like, but because there was humor in this, I for some reason loved it. So I would say reader beware if you want to try this. And that's what I'm gonna leave it at, I think. So moving on from this, I have two options that we are going to do kind of a try a chapter thing with, and I'll end up letting you know which one I pick when I do a first update with it. But I had my husband pick because I have so many that I want to read that I was like, I don't know which one, but I definitely want something different than what I just read. So hopefully no, like, I don't want any like body horror or anything super gory. I just want to be chill with it. And I'm probably going to be reading The Spell Shop at the same time because I'm supposed to finish this. It is Saturday night and I'm supposed to have The Spell Shop finished by Monday at 5. And I've only read a couple chapters and I was not enjoying it. So I don't know how that's going to go. But I'm going to listen to that one. I have some painting and puzzles and stuff to do. So, and I'll probably listen to it during MMA because I don't really care what they say during MMA. But anyway, so for this video, I have two options. These are the two that I'm most interested in. And it's funny because my husband picked it and it was the two that I was the most interested in. So we have The Anomaly, which like I said, this is like Indiana Jones meets the X-Files, a 1 or a 5. I mean, it depends how this is done because I've read plenty of survival horror and have not liked it. So I have found that I don't love survival horror because it generally is everybody dies and incredibly depressing. And that's something that's on my dislike list, is I don't like super depressing horror. Like, someone needs to survive. Like, someone needs to survive. Hopefully multiple people survive and we just have like a hopeful ending. So this makes me nervous for that. But I feel like saying it's Indiana Jones lived in the X-Files era. That I feel like it shouldn't be that depressing if that's how they're describing it. So I am a little bit nervous for this one. And then we have one that's like, I feel like would be more up my alley because it seems like it's cult related. Well, I am between these two. It's just gonna depend on which one has a more interesting first chapter. So, all right, I have some updates. It is Monday morning. I really thought I was gonna have a video a week out, but I'm just not getting through enough horror books, which I feel like I shouldn't be surprised about because I don't read that much horror. So it's taking me a while to read them or like just pick one up. So I am reading other things. Like, I read The Spell Shop in like 2 days. I listened to it on audiobook, which we're not here to talk about The Spell Shop or cozy fantasy, but I'm reading other things at the same time as reading horror because I cannot read back to back horror. So after The Dead Take the A Train, I was like, it's not happening. I thought I was going to get into a horror book right away, but there was no way. So I ended up reading The Spell Shop over the past 2 days. So then I did not pick this up. Still haven't even attempted reading this one. This is probably going to be next, but we're going to talk about it. But I did start The Anomaly, and I also started I Was a Teenage Slasher, and I did DNF both of them. This one I'm not even counting as a DNF because I didn't make it even that far in. It pretty much immediately went to, like, there was two options, like 2 ways that this could go at the beginning. It was either going to feel fun and adventurous kind of horror, or it was going to feel like The Ruins, which is one of my least favorite horror books that I've ever read. And it immediately started feeling like The Ruins, and it gave me bad vibes. And it doesn't even matter if the rest of the book is not like The Ruins, but because the prologue in the first chapter immediately felt like The Ruins, and it felt like this wretched something. What was it? It's a new book this year. That one also felt like The Ruins, but I don't like those vibes. I don't like I don't know what it is. I can't pinpoint what it is about these types of horror specifically. It's like, is it survival horror? I feel like that's what it is. It's survival horror. I don't like survival horror, I don't think. Do I have any other survival horror? I feel like I've avoided buying books similar to this and This Wretched Valley. That's what it's called. I've avoided buying books like The Ruins and This Wretched Valley. So I don't think I like survival horror. Interesting. With movies, I don't even love survival horror movies either. I definitely am more of like a psychological slasher or sometimes paranormal, somewhat. I tend not to gravitate towards this type of horror in general. So that's interesting. I can probably add that to my list. I don't think I've read a single survival horror that I've liked. In adult, again, there are young adult ones that I have liked. It is very different. Actually, that's what's crazy. The Spell Shop is by Sarah Beth Durst, and she writes The Lake House, I think it's called The Lake House, which is a young adult paranormal survivor horror, and I really liked it. I gave it a 4-star. I thought it was so much fun. Again, I tend to like young adult horror better. I am more forgiving just because it's normally less depressing. But adult survival horror, just, it's not my vibe. It feels too gritty. I don't think I like gritty feeling horror novels. So this is going to be a DNF, but not DNF, because I just didn't get that far. And I'm not saying this is bad. This is probably really good. It's just not the horror for me. So I don't have bad vibes. I don't have bad vibes about the situation. I had bad vibes about the book, but not about the situation. I'm actually excited. I feel like that definitely gave me some knowledge about how I feel about horror books. That was cool. And then, to no one's surprise, this ended up being a DNF. I got to 70 pages of I Was a Teenage Slasher, and it's just Stephen Graham Jones. I don't know why, like, I do this to myself. I don't think this is a bad book. The writing style is just not for me. I think if this premise was written by somebody else, like Cassandra Khaw wrote this premise, this would probably be my favorite book of the year. That is the problem. It is just how Stephen Graham Jones writes that I don't like. And it's like, he had like run-on sentences, and it just feels like you're reading like an existential crisis, which some people love. I don't. And his characters, it's something I found an issue. This reads very similarly, in my opinion, to Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. The characters just go on these weird tangents that you're like, what is happening? And I noticed this in all of Stephen Graham Jones's book. This happened, and it's why I didn't like My Heart is a Chainsaw, is the characters just go on these like 3-page long side tangents that aren't important whatsoever. And you're just sitting there like, can we get back on track, please? Like, what is the point of these side tangents other than that it feels like the author just likes talking through the books? I love the premise of this. I love that we are following a character who is basically slowly turning into a teenage slasher, like almost like an infection. And it's so cool, and you're trying to figure out like who the final girl is. And I love the idea behind that. I love it. But I don't like the execution, and it makes me so sad because, again, I think I could absolutely adore this book if it was not written by this author. So I do have one finished book that was a 4-star, and then 2 DNFs. But again, I'm not mad about them. I'm learning. And I think that's definitely going to be it for Stephen Graham Jones. This was definitely my last-ditch effort, and I wasn't even going to buy this one. And then I let myself, like, be talked into it because it just sounded so good. But it's not. For me, it's not good. I can see other people liking it if you're not bothered by certain writing styles. This is a slasher. This could be a goofy fun time because I don't normally like Natasha Preston books, but I keep buying them because they're so compulsively readable. Like, I don't know what it is, but I've given 2 of her books 1 stars now, and maybe a third one a 2-star, but they're so fun to read, and then the endings normally are absolutely atrocious, and they normally make me want to throw the book across the room. So I ended up buying this one. I have 2 more of her books in the house somewhere. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I can't stop reading her books. They're not good. So I will put this one on the palette, because this could be a silly, goofy, easy read. All right, update. I also have my chunky heating pad on right now. It's like a neck and shoulder heating pad, and it's like a small back. And it has like a small back, so I can get the upper back and the neck and the shoulders. It is literally perfect for my problems. And because it's been a weird day. The first half of the day was really, really good. Second half of the day has been feeling rough. So I am just chilling with my heating pad, and I do need to go make dinner soon. I'm gonna make some like kind of po' boy-esque sandwiches, but it's not fried shrimp. It's just like grilled shrimp with some seasoning and stuff. So it is obviously a little bit different, but similar idea. But I do have an update on 3 books, actually. Remember, the point of this is to learn my reading taste, okay? Even if there are DNFs, this is not like a sad DNF kind of thing. It is just, okay, we're figuring out reading taste. First up, the book that I am currently reading and really enjoying and continuing. It's not a book I own physically. I know that was supposed to be like whittling down my physical TBR, but I've been wanting to get to this book called The Lamplighter, and it's an arc back from a couple months ago, and it is the only arc that I am behind on. Everything else I'm up to date on, but I just kept putting it off for some reason. I don't know why, but it's like a folk horror that is taking place, it's a young adult horror that is taking place in an old whaling village, and our main character literally is a lamplighter for the village. And it's just really, really interesting, and no idea where it's going. Literally no idea where it's going. I think I'm 35% into the book, and I'm just, the vibes are so good. It is getting a little bit annoying. So her sister is being courted by somebody that she doesn't like and has bad vibes from, and there's something odd about him. And that back and forth is getting a little bit annoying, but I think it's going to tie into the whole story. Like, it just seems really cool. And the other focus of the story, like the main real focus of the story, is our girl's a lamplighter in a town that has issues with fog, and people go missing in the fog. And there's like superstitions about ghosts or monsters and stuff like that. And one of the residents went missing, which is weird. It hasn't happened in a long time. So it's just fun. I think it's going to be some sort of paranormal or monster horror book, and I'm having a great time. It's a very slow build-up, but it's working really well. In my other news, we are DNFing The Haunting. This was bad. This was legitimately really bad, and it's not even going to be counted as a DNF because I only got 46 pages. And then I went and looked it up because I was like, the writing is even worse than usual. Most times with Natasha Preston books, the writing is at least compelling, but the writing in this was so bad that I was like, what is happening right now? So I look it up. I found out what happens at the end, and I was like, it's so stupid. I'm officially done with Natasha Preston books. I think, and this one really is, its writing style. This one is a specific author. Like, it's nothing specific about the story because this is like kind of a slasher thriller, which I normally am okay with. Do you want to read a couple more? Because I feel like that is a genre that maybe I do need to figure out if I like it or not, because I have DNF'd quite a few slashers in books. So that is a, maybe I do need to look into that a bit more, but I don't have that many. But it's definitely a Natasha Preston problem. I just don't like her writing style, and she is an open-ended author, and I hate that. I hate that. Some of them are okay, but this one has a giant open end, and I hate that. I will never enjoy that in a story. I do not like open endings. It makes me so mad. Then, I am surprised about this one. Black Sheep. I DNF'd Black Sheep. I really didn't like this. I'm trying to like pinpoint what I didn't like about it, but it's following our main character. I didn't like the main character immediately. I don't like how this opened up. There was also this gritty feeling to this book, and I don't enjoy the grittier feelings of things. I just didn't like being in the headspace of that character. So I think I also have to at least enjoy the headspace of a character, and I was just immediately put off by this character and her attitude at the beginning. And normally I love characters with attitude, but something about her just really rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. And I think the writing's okay. I definitely want to read another Rachel Harrison to see if it's just this book. And then I also read What Happens, and I am super happy I DNF'd it. I do not like where this one, it seems goofy. I don't love just like bizarre horror. I don't like where this one went. I'm trying to explain because I love The Dead Take the A Train, which is bizarre horror. But this is like doesn't make sense and kind of stupid for the world that we're in, I guess. Like, it has to make sense within the context of the book, and I feel like it didn't make context within the book or what I've read so far. So for me, I feel like it's at least got to make sense in the world. Like, The Dead Take the A Train was never anything other than what it was trying to be. This is like warping reality, and I don't think I liked that. But this one's a little bit harder. I'm gonna have to sit with this for a little bit and figure out exactly what it was, but I definitely think the character was a big part of it. So if I don't like the character, I at least want to be like learning about them or in their headspace. I think it's gonna be an issue with horror. So we did DNF that one. I don't know where to go from here. It's really weird updating for this because it's such a weird style of vlog where I don't know exactly where anything is going. I'm just trying to figure out my reading preferences. It's very strange doing this. So anyway, we're gonna continue with the Lamplighters, and I may pick up the Honeys. Maybe. We'll see. Undecided. All right, I've got some updates. I got some short updates, and I'm still debating if I want to talk about one of the books with a spoiler section, but I feel like I probably shouldn't, but I also really want to, so I think I'm going to. It's not a book that a lot of people know or a lot of people are super interested in, so I don't feel as bad talking about it, but I will tell you when we get into spoilers. But I finished The Lamplighters, and I think I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think a 3.5 feels good. It feels right. Unfortunately, this was going to be a 4, but I took off 0.5 points for the ending because I have feelings about it. It did a thing that I did not like. 2 things that I did not like, which is like the kiss of death for books. I was so tempted just to be like, 2 stars, I'm angry. But no, I need to not do that. Objectively, the rest of the book was really, really good. And it was gonna be a 4-star, but that ending was something. It was really something. Non-spoiler thoughts are really great atmosphere, great setting. It was very folk horror, which is like one of my favorites, and I can definitely add that like 100%. Yeah, folk horror is up there. I liked the twist. I was like, once I caught on what was happening, I was like, I think a lot of people could guess that this was happening, but because I didn't guess it for a while, like I stayed pretty, I don't know what was going on. So when I finally figured out what was going on, I was literally in shock. I was in shock, and I loved it. I loved the twist. I thought it was so good. Again, very folk nature horror. It was phenomenal. The only problem is I feel like it was a little bit long. It did drag out a little bit, and it did rely on one of my least favorite things in books, which is the gaslighting of women. I mean, our main character was gaslit in every single situation that she was in by everybody, including her sister, which I don't love that. Like, it was very impactful, but I feel like it could have been shortened in some of the sections that were really harping on that. Like, I feel like we definitely dragged some parts out that didn't need to be dragged out. Okay, moving into spoiler section, because I do want to talk about the ending because it's going to be relevant to what I add to my list of dislikes and why I dislike a lot of horror books. So spoilers. We're talking about spoilers. We're talking about the end of The Lamplighters. If you do not want to know anything about this book, definitely skip ahead to the next section. Well, I'm going to talk about another book. I'll mark it clearly on the video, but basically when the spoiler mark goes away, that's when you're safe, because I'm going to talk about Diavola a bit after this. Anyway, the reason that I want to talk about this is because the whole point of this video is to figure out what I like in horror, and The Lamplighters ended with a very depressing ending. It was very depressing, and it was kind of open-ended. So it ends up that, I don't need to go into it too much just in case, but it is open-ended where it feels like the bad guys won, and I don't like that. I definitely think it felt like our main character, the gaslighters, won, and she was left to basically die or be in this middle ground area. I don't know exactly. That's the part that's open-ended, is we don't exactly know what happened to her. They left a lot of stuff kind of unanswered. Like, there were some questions about the twist, and like she was trying to figure out if she could retrieve something and alive, and we don't know because it was never shown on page, and I was really disappointed because I thought we were gonna go down that route, and I was super excited to go down that route, and we never did. I feel like there was 2 options towards the end of directions that you could have taken with the book, and we went down the more depressing open-ended way, and instead I really wanted to go the other direction where there was less death and more explanation and more kind of just explaining what was going on. I feel like some stuff was brought in towards the end of the book that was never really explained, and how it happened in the first place and what was going on, and I definitely feel like that was a mistake. So that was a big portion of why I ended up deducting some points from this, because it was just so depressing at the end. It was so depressing, and I just don't love that, especially when the rest of the book it doesn't feel like it's gonna go in that direction, and then suddenly you're like reading it and you're just like, oh man, I need to read like a rom-com after this. I feel like that's what makes me a difficult horror reader, is I don't like depressing endings, and a lot of horror is depressing. So that's a difficult one. That is a difficult one to talk about. But anyway, end of spoilers. I'm giving Lamplighters a 3.5. Moving on to Diavola, I don't know how many pages I am into Diavola, but I think I'm around 70 or 80 pages. I'm just under 100, I think. I could be over that now because I am listening to it at like 2 times speed, because the narrator does talk really slowly. I will say I'm loving it and hating it at the same time. Like, my enjoyment is 5 out of 5. Me wanting to kill the characters is at a 5 out of 5. This is definitely family drama, and for me, that can go either way. That can go one of 2 directions. Either I love it or I hate it. The only thing is, I actually, it's funny because I listen to a lot of those like Reddit stories, like Smosh Reads Reddit stories, and this is a family that I feel like I've listened to Smosh stories about, like so many about, because so the family just feels very realistic, and it's so frustrating, and you just want like our main character Anna to leave. But Nicole is easily my least favorite character. Her sister is unbearable. She's one of those people that has children and it acts like it's everyone else's fault that she has children. Like, she got mad at Anna for being able to sleep on the plane and do like activities on the plane while she had to take care of her kids. She got mad at someone else that her kids were awake on the plane. It's that situation. And then she also was like just expecting Anna to babysit her kids on vacation while everyone else went and did something together. And it's like, no, they're your children. This is something you talk about before you go on the trip. Like, hey, I really want to go somewhere with my husband, but only if you would be okay with taking care of the kids for like a couple hours. It's just one of those things that you talk about, and you shouldn't expect people to just like do things for you because you think they should. Like, no, they're asking is totally fine, but expecting it is just, it's so overstepping, especially when they're missing out on an event because you don't want to deal with your kids, basically. So it's complicated. I don't have kids, so I can't talk about it as much and go into depth of that, but that, like, I feel like there's so many Reddit stories about people's siblings having kids and then expecting everyone else to take care of them. Again, ask. All you have to do is ask. Like, that's totally, like, not a problem. Not a problem if you ask. It's just being nice. Like, so anyway, continuing on, the only part that I really don't buy is Benny's boyfriend. Benny's boyfriend, Christopher, is literally Satan. Like, he is so, there's a difference between like I have met rude people who don't understand that they're being rude. Like, it's a thing. It's a thing that happens. Christopher is just mean. Like, he is just a nasty person and wants everyone's day to be ruined, and he can't believe that other people are smarter than him or know things better than him. Oh my god, he is the worst. He is actually the worst. I literally don't buy that Benny would be dating him and that the family wouldn't have said something. Like, the family is just letting him be an ass all the time, and I don't buy that no one would have said anything, or like that he wouldn't be allowed on this vacation with them. I don't buy that. And I don't think Christopher is necessary. I think the point of the book is like to have like the family turmoil and blah blah blah, and then there's like something going on in the house because they're on vacation in Italy. Christopher was unnecessary. He is just like, he takes the unlikability of the family to the next level, and I just don't think it's necessary to have in this book unless he's going to be monster fodder. Like, I feel like that's what he's here for, is to be fodder for a ghost or a monster or something in this house. Because other than that, if he survives, I am literally going to throw a temper tantrum. Because there's no point having him in this. Like, the family's already difficult and a pain in the butt. You didn't need someone who is like a caricature of an unlikable person. He is that unlikable. So that's kind of my biggest issue with it, is the Christopher character. Otherwise, I actually am really liking it. The writing is really good. The audiobook is really good. Really entertaining. Like, I can see why a lot of people like this. And it's slow dread, which is some of my favorite type of horror, because it really gets you into the setting and into the characters and into the mood, instead of just throwing you on a buzzsaw. The buzzsaw comes later. So anyway, I'm gonna continue listening to it. I don't think it's gonna take like that long to read. Probably the next 2 days, I would think, depending on how much of it I listen to today. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to continue it, and I'm glad that I'm in, I found a couple more that I'm enjoying. Oh, I did go to Barnes & Noble today. Went to Barnes & Noble today, and I did buy this. I feel like a lot of people are going to be confused what this is, because it's not, it's part of the Critical Role series, which I don't want. Like, I just started watching the cartoon on Amazon Prime, Vox Machina. I do plan to go and watch their actual campaigns. There's so much to catch up on. But anyway, Cassandra Khaw wrote a book within the Critical Role series, and it's a prequel to one of the characters in campaign 3. So she said it's very accessible to people who don't even watch Critical Role, because it is a prequel. So I got it because this cover and because it's Cassandra Khaw. So I'm very excited about this, and I do plan to read this relatively soon, because it's about like an undead priest or undead mage or something like that. So I'm very highly excited to see what this story is. Okay, I just finished taking a walk outside through our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is really, really nice, and you can actually walk through our neighborhood, unlike my last neighborhood where I live. So that's really nice, and I still have my in-laws dog. Last day. Today's the last day. It is Friday, October 11th. I figured I would have a little bit of an unboxing. My aardvark finally came, and my order from Mercari came. And then we will talk about our final book for this vlog. I was going to make this like all of October, but it is the 11th or the 10th. Still don't know. And I've gotten through a huge chunk of books. So I think I'm pretty happy to do like a little wrap up, take a week off of horror books, focus on a little bit of fantasy, some romance, and then get back into horror the last week of October. I think that is a good idea. So Diavola, I did finish Diavola, and we will talk about it in a minute, but I figured, like I said, let's look at what I got in the mail. It's very small. It's just, again, it's Mercari and Aardvark. So I ended up really liking the Spell Shop. I gave it a 4-star. It was probably my favorite cozy fantasy that I've read besides Emily Wilde's. I did not think I was gonna like it. I hated the first 120 pages, and then I loved the rest of it. So I had an Outcrate copy. I don't really love the Outcrate copy. I do like the spine, so I will keep it because I like the spine, but I don't love the rest of it. But it is the copy I read, and I'm always more attached to the copies I read, so I am going to keep it. But I wanted this cover after seeing the reveal for book 2, which I'm kind of sad isn't following our character in here, but it is following someone that has been mentioned, and I think that's going to be really fun. I was excited to hear about who the book was about. But yeah, I ended up getting this from Mercari. It's gorgeous. I think this cover is, I mean, you could not do better than this cover for this book. It matches the book perfectly. So I'm super happy about it, and I definitely wanted this pretty purple lavender Spell Shop copy. Even if it didn't have the lavender, I still wanted this cover because it's literal perfection for this book. So moving on to Aardvark, I did get, I'm trying to think, I don't know if I got many of the current selections. I got 2. I got 2 of the current selections, and then one older book that I wanted, because I am getting significantly more picky with Book of the Month and Aardvark. So Aardvark, they're very literary fiction heavy and romance heavy, and a lot of the romances you can get for pretty cheap in paperback from a regular bookstore. So I have to like really want it to get an Aardvark pick. So I did have two, and then there was one I wanted a previous month, but it's one of those things like Book of the Month. If you're only getting one book, it doesn't feel totally worth it because the add-ons are kind of where you save money and with the free shipping. So I kind of make sure I want at least one add-on. And so I ended up getting my Vampire Plus One, which I am very excited. And I was torn on getting this edition of it because this is the same author as my roommate is a vampire and I wanted them to match, but also I really like hardcover books and I think that they last longer in general, and it just looks so cool. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna do it like this. If I end up loving this and I love my roommate as a vampire, I will get this in paperback too. Okay. Then I went a little bit out of my comfort zone, which I don't know why I do this, but this sounds really good. The lightning bottles. Where's the, oh, my hand was on it. I was trying to find the aardvark thing because I think it's really cool. So this has some stuff that I like I think it's following an ex-rock and roller, Seattle grunge scene in the early 90s, rock and roll and missing people. So that sounds kind of what I like. So if you guys know me, I love like historical fiction that relates to rock star, or not rock stars, but like movie stars, famous, like fake famous people. For some reason I'm addicted to it, and it's why I end up loving Taylor Jenkins Reid books so much, because that's all that they are. So I'm hoping this reads like a Taylor Jenkins Reid book, because I'm definitely having some withdrawal because she hasn't put anything out lately and it's killing me on the inside. And then my older pick, I ended up picking Lies and Weddings. This is the one that I really wanted a couple months ago. I did get a copy from the library, but then I just like didn't read it. So I just got a copy of it because I think I'm really gonna like this. This seems like a dramatic romance that could be really fun at the same time, as long as there's a little bit of humor. I'm hoping there's a little bit of humor. I tend to like the romances. One of the reasons I also wanted it is they had these little holographic bookmarks this month. So I always think the ears are a terrible idea. Like, it's really cool though. 2 years fresh ears. I don't think this is a great bookmark. It is very, like, it's very thick. So this is probably just gonna go like on a display somewhere because it's so thick. It's so thick. So this is probably gonna get displayed. There's no way this is a good bookmark. Oh gosh, yeah, no, look at that. No, we're not gonna do that. That's gonna leave like indentations. So displayed, but ow, I just hit myself with it. But I do wish that they would come up with a new design for their aardvark. Like, they're so cute, but these little stupid ears on like the regular ones get bent. Like, no matter what you do, they get bent. So I kind of hope they try something different in the future with their bookmarks. I would love to see a redesign. And yeah, that's it. So let's talk about the book. Theovola. 3.75. I'm gonna give it a 3.75. This is definitely a family drama. This is the most unlikable family that you could, I mean, ever come across. And I was really disappointed that pretty much everyone in the family sucked. I was hoping for her to have like one ally instead of her versus everybody. That was really unfortunate. It made it really difficult to read. So I enjoyed it. I think the writing is phenomenal. I love the writing. The audiobook was really good. But even the reading experience was fun because I did read the last like 50 pages just with my eyes. And I loved it. Like, I loved that. It gets a 3.75 because, yeah, family drama stuff like that. I love family drama, but I don't like when everyone is an absolute moron and thinks that everything is their business and it relates to themselves. And yeah, that drove me absolutely nuts. The sister was unbearable. The sister literally makes this traumatic decision in Anna's life about herself. And it's not even really that traumatic to the main character. The main character knew it was the right decision and decided to do this thing, and everyone else has made it about themselves. It's hard to read a book like this where there is no reasoning with these types of people. That's what kills you the most. It's like, okay, but what if you explain it that no. It doesn't matter how you explain the situation. It doesn't matter how you word it. It doesn't matter what's going on in their life. It doesn't matter if this big thing happens, which it does. A big thing happens and you think the family, oh, maybe they'll like get together. No, they literally turn on our character even more. And that's the point. You cannot reason with some people. And I love that this really was, it really was an exploration on toxic family dynamics and why sometimes you do have to separate yourself from your family. I feel like a lot of people go through so much dealing with toxic family members because they feel like they don't have a choice. And that's what this was. Most of this book was literally feeling like you are trapped with these horrible people and you're kind of just trying to work through it. So I think in those regards, it is such a good story. And it gives you such a claustrophobic feeling like that you are having to deal with these people. And that is my actual nightmare because my family is pretty chill. Like families are families. There's always going to be drama, but my family's pretty chill and stays out of my business pretty much. Like I'm an adult. They stay out of my business. My decisions are my decisions for the most part. There are a couple things that they'll try and butt in with, but nothing like this. Oh my gosh. So for me, it was just like, I can't believe people are actually like this because I have not experienced it to this extent. It was wild. It was wild. And the more I talk about it, the more I really like the book. But being in the book, in the headspace of the book, literally wants to make me tear my hair out, which is why immediately after finishing it, I gave it a 3.75. But now I'm thinking it's a 4, like a solid 4. I think I'm gonna give it a solid 4 after having just talked about it. And kind of getting like deeper into the book. I'm sad because I think this would have been an amazing book club pick. I should have picked this for October. Like there is so much to unpack in this book and I think a lot of people would like this, and it's short and there's not that many. There are some trigger warnings in this one, but it's not horrible. Like there's nothing really, really bad in here. So I think a lot of people would have liked this one. So I do recommend this to pretty much anybody who wants to try some lighter horror because it's creepy, but it's nothing like super gory, intense, nothing like that. It's really a haunted house where the family dynamics are the focus. So I really enjoyed this one. I think this is a good one to end the first Halloween vlog on. I feel like there was no actual Halloween content in here besides reading scary books. Like I'm not wearing cute Halloween outfits or anything like that, but this is Halloween to me. Is watching scary movies while I listen and read horror books. So that is everything for this vlog. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm trying to look at if I have, or I was like, what do I have? What did I read? So to wrap up this video, I was like, that would make sense to actually go through what we did. We had 4 DNFs, but again, the DNFs are kind of an integral part of this video because we were learning what we don't like about books. And the anomaly is definitely, I don't like books like The Ruin where it feels gritty. There's a gritty atmosphere where you just know people are about to get slaughtered. Don't love it. Don't love it. And it's normally out in like abandoned locations where you can't get anywhere. And I don't love the out in like the forest or the woods, that kind of thing. Don't love that. So that's kind of helped with that. I was a teenage slasher. Some writing styles just are not for me. I feel like that goes with The Haunting too. And then we have Black Sheep, which is, it's just too goofy. Like I like funny horror, but not borderline like what is happening? Like does this even make sense? It has to make sense. That's what drives me crazy in some fantasy books too. It has to make sense. That goes for fantasy books as well. And then The Haunting, I hate open-ended. I hate these stupid endings that some of these books have. And Natasha Preston, also just not an author for me. So learned a lot from these. And then we had, did we finish 3 books? I think we read 3 books. We had The Dead Take the A Train, which is 4 stars. I like funny horror. If there's comedy in it, I'm gonna love it. And I just really like Cassandra Claus' writing. It is fun. This is such an interesting world. I want an interesting world in these like kind of weirder horror books, and this worked really well for that. Then we read The Lamplighters, which again had an issue with the ending, but the atmosphere and the folk horror and everything, just like the vibes of that one were so good that I could overlook the not so great ending. And I think that one I also gave, no, I gave that one a 3.5. 3.5 for that one. And then, like I said, Just Our Diavola, I am giving it a 4. Family drama is great, but again, this one is like atmosphere. I feel like it definitely has an atmospheric kind of thing, and I like ghost stories. So enjoyed that as well. And I do like isolated locations like this, where we're in like a beautiful seaside area, but the house is haunted kind of thing. That's different than the gritty forest archaeological dig site kind of thing. So I feel like we've learned a lot. I don't know if that's gonna help me, but I feel like we've learned a lot. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the first video. There will be a second installment of this, which I'm pretty excited about. I feel like I'm having a really good time reading right now, and I would like to continue that moving forward. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys are enjoying your reads for October. Definitely let me know what you have read so far, what you've enjoyed, what you haven't enjoyed, and what you plan to read for the rest of the Halloween season. But yeah, that is everything I have for you today, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. So yeah, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that second Halloween video. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.